All right, we're going to go ahead and get started, and welcome to everyone. It's so nice to have all of you be here tonight. We'll begin with roll call. Tonight we have Dell Hanson, Business Administrator here, Terry Rhodes, Board Member, Jeff Nielsen, Board Member, Alan Grunig, Board Member, I'm Kathy Christiansen, Board Member, Roger Pulsifer, Board Member, Steve Norton, Superintendent, Randall Bagley, Board Member, and Larry Jepson is excused. And we would like to start by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. So Roger will lead us in that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our mission is to educate students for success in a changing world.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're going to begin with some recognitions. We're just really happy to have all of you here for these recognitions and appreciate all of the really tremendous things that you're doing here in Cache District as students and as teachers and as administrators. We'll begin with Matthew Radovan, and I hope I pronounced your name correctly. He is the overall gold winner at the 32nd Annual Academic Olympiad. And
Bob Hinkie.
Bob Hinkie.
and Principal Hinkie will present that. And for those who are receiving awards tonight, just if you would stay up here at the front long enough for us to get a picture, we would like it with the presenter and also the board member as well.
So I'd like to introduce Matthew Radovan. He is a senior at Ridgeline High School. I first met Matthew when he was in 9th grade, and he attended Mountain Crest High School when we didn't have 9th grade at the high schools. But he was so far advanced that his parents and he came in and asked if he could begin attending at Mountain Crest, and so he started taking some of the more advanced classes there and did that for 2 years. And for the last 2 years, he's been at Ridgeline for half a day, and for half a day he's been up at Utah State taking classes. Our most advanced math class, for example, is for the first year of calculus, AP Calculus, and Matthew's on his 3rd year of calculus up at Utah State right now, so there's classes we just can't offer him. And this summer he went to MIT for a summer workshop or doing science research with professors from both Harvard and MIT, and had a wonderful experience there and continues to do some of that. So Matthew and I talk, but we don't talk about academics a lot because I wouldn't have a clue what he's talking about. I majored in PE, so. But he's a wonderful student, and he has wonderful parents who, although Matthew is far advanced from most students, they felt the need to have him still at the high school and to enjoy the high school experience for 4 years. And so he's had a combination of both and has done a wonderful job. And so recently they had the Academic Olympiad up here at Utah State that they hold annually. I guess somebody said it was the 32nd year. And I don't know how many schools there were, but somewhere between 25 and 30 schools. And they do testing in the morning on different subjects, history, science, math, English, and then they have a Star Wars competition between the schools, but they give out awards for the top performing student overall out of all the students that were there, and each team has 9 members. And Matthew received the highest score, or the highest awards. He was 2nd in math and 2nd in science or something like that. Yeah, and then overall he had the highest score overall of all the students that were there. So congratulations to Matthew. And maybe Matthew could introduce his family that's here.
So sitting in the back, my dad, Michael. My sister, Caitlin. You need to stand up, Caitlin. And my mom, Caroline.
Congratulations. Okay, if we could get you to move right over here in the center. And agenda. Would you like his parents with them? Would his parents please come up and... And board members duck. Thank you so much, Matthew. Congratulations, that's awesome. We'd like to also recognize the Green Canyon Marching Band champions, and I believe Mr. Beach is the one who's going to be presenting this. Or someone?
Dave,
Okay, all right.
both of you come up,
Mr. Swenson.
and any band members that are here, if they're
If there's band members who are here, come on up. Yeah. We'll have you scrunch and get a picture of you two afterwards.
As they're coming up, it's my pleasure to introduce our band and the accomplishments that they've done, and I'll let Mr. Beach tell about the accomplishments. But I just want to just preface a little bit about this organization. It's probably one of the best run organizations at Green Canyon High School, or probably, I'd like to say probably in most of the valley, with the parent support and how things are run and done. It's really neat. When you open up a school, and they didn't really get all their instruments until about the middle of June. They had no fields to practice on, so they were scattered around up at Hyde Park, City Park, for a while during band camp. They also used Meadowview Park, so day in and day out, they would haul all their instruments every day to Meadowview Park and practice to the all through the summer, and not one complaint. They were just grateful to have the instruments that they had, and waiting for their band field. And it wasn't until about the last maybe couple weeks of the season that they got their band field right close to the school. So, and what impressed me is I never heard a complaint. Never. They were just they were happy to be a part of a group, and when it's time, and it was in all the long hours when it's time to go. They still hang around for another. You can't get them to leave. They're having too much fun. But anyway, I'll let Randall Beach, our band director, talk about the neat things that happened this whole year. And so, anyway, Randall.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, Mr. Swenson, we really appreciate Mr. Swenson and the other administrators at our school, faculty, students, everybody, the school district, school board. We appreciate you acknowledging the accomplishment of these students. And if I could, I just want to give a little bit of context to what they accomplished, because I think that this is a really special group of students, and it was a privilege to work with them. We were rather concerned, as all the district has been, we're dividing schools and opening new schools, and it's a bit of an unknown. We didn't know exactly how many students were going to end up in the marching band or how things were going to look, and we were thrilled, myself, and I have some very talented assistants and staff members that helped. We didn't know how it was going to turn out, but we ended up with 80 students in the band for our first year, which we were thrilled about. It's not a very big band, but we're like, hey, we can do this. This is big enough to put together a show and have a successful season. But these students ended up working very, very hard and accomplishing some great things. They competed in their division based on band size, which also corresponds with the school size that we are, which was good. And they gave 10 public performances. 5 of those were actual competitions, or 5 of them were Utah competitions, and they placed first in their division in every case. They received the high caption awards for the most outstanding performance in music, visual, percussion, and color guard several times. The color guard was the first color guard in every competition they went to. The final competition for the Utah State Circuit was at Red Rocks the Red Rocks competition in St. George, and they won first place there, winning the state championship for their division.
And then the following year, the following day, they went to the Bands of America Western Regional Championship, which is sponsored by a national organization, Bands of America. So there were really great bands from all around the Western United States: Oregon, Washington, California, Utah, New Mexico, Colorado. And the competition there was the toughest that we've ever seen it. Most of the bands there were much larger bands, 200, 250, even 300 plus band members. So our little band of 80 members came in and they just gave the performance of a lifetime at the preliminary competition, and was one of the neatest things I've ever seen. And they ended up placing in the top 10. They were the 10th band and made it into the finals performance that night. And just to give some context to that, it's, these other, virtually every other band in there was from very large schools with, like I said, 200 or 300 band members. They were by far the smallest band to make it into that top 10 group. So for this small band of 80, their first year, to make it among those top 10 was just a huge accomplishment. And I'm very proud of them for that. But a few other things that I think give context to it as well is that we only have 18 seniors in the band and 13 juniors. There's 24 sophomores and 25 freshmen, and 48% of the band, 38 students, have never even been in a marching band before. So they're completely new to the band activity. And for them to come together as a group and work as hard as they did and accomplish what they did in the context of the big picture is just huge, to reach that high level of performance. And that's all great, but even more important than that is that they're an amazing group of young people, and I think everywhere they went and everything they did, they represented themselves, they represented Green Canyon, I think they represented our school district and our valley with great class and professionalism, and I'm very proud of them. I also want to mention that I think one of the reasons they were so successful is because we were blessed to have a really very talented group of instructors that work with these students. And I wanted to mention them. Katie Anderson is our color guard director. She's a full-time teacher at Green Canyon. We're very fortunate to have her. Mrs. Lana, oh my goodness. Miss Lana Williams, yeah, she got married. And Elena Pedersen, are our visual instructors and our visual staff. Curtis Pedersen, Emily Densley, and Jake Pedersen work with our percussion. Sierra Allen was an assistant to Mrs. Anderson. And they are very talented teachers, and we're very fortunate to have them working with our young people. But just again, thank you so much for your support. Superintendent Norton has been so supportive of all of our music programs throughout the district, and that we really appreciate the support and effort that we feel from the school district to strengthen our music programs and our band programs all across. So thank you very much.
Okay, congratulations to all of you and Mr. Beach and all of the assistants for doing such a great job. We would like to get a picture of you all, and so you're going to have to group together.
Just stay there till the parents get done taking.
And could we have all of the parents stand, because we know that the students don't accomplish things like this without a lot of support from their parents at home. Thank you. Okay, we have some Teachers of the Year we would like to recognize tonight also. And we will begin with Tammy Grohl from Birch Creek Elementary, and Principal Anderson will be here to present that honor.
It's always an honor to be able to recognize the best of the best. And when you're working at Birch Creek, it's very easy to come up with the best because we have some incredible, incredible teachers. The other day, I just got to tell a story. I looked down at Tammy's feet, and she's got one big bare slipper on, like a house slipper with claws sticking on, and then a bare foot. And she's done this every year that I've been there at Birch Creek. And it's the way that she teaches homophones. And that's just kind of typifies her teaching. She likes to make it fun. One of the teachers said, not only is Tammy a great teacher, but she truly lives the 7 habits. At the beginning of the year, Tammy is always one of the first teachers to help kindergarten students get on the bus. She will stay out until every child is accounted for. Even now, when we have a late bus, Tammy can be found checking on kindergarten students and making sure they are okay. She typifies being a proactive at its best. Tamara is always looking for new ideas, and she is always growing. She's always thinking of her students' well-being and is amazing at teaching math. Her coworkers love her, her students love her, and her fun personality. Tammy teaches with tremendous excitement, and if you walk past her room, you want to stop and watch her teach. That is so true. She's very animated and gets into her teaching. Her husband said, Tammy has known she's wanted to be a teacher since 2nd grade. She loves her job and the people she works with. Although I have never seen her teach, you ought to come. You're welcome anytime. Her students and her parents must like her a lot because she shares the notes and cards she receives from them with me. One of her favorites was from a student going into 3rd grade. The student said, I wish I could be in your class again, but sadly I have to go to 3rd grade. I will miss you and I will come to visit you every day and give you a hug. She actually did. Tammy believes in kids. She really wants them all to succeed and puts in many hours to do so. So true. And just grateful to be able to recognize Tammy Grohl as Birch Creek's Teacher of the Year.
Okay, I just have to say thank you. This was totally unexpected because of the people that I work with, and they are so outstanding. I feel like I'm just a very small part of a team and a great school and a great district, and we're all doing our best. So thank you very much for this.
Can I say thank you for the bonus?
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, let's go ahead.
Can we have her husband
Yep.
and son stand up and be recognized, be part of the picture even?
Thank you so much, and congratulations. Next, we'd like to recognize Mike Hale from Cache High School, and Cherie Hansen will be presenting that award. You. Tag.
Can we have the board duck? No, okay, no. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. I'm just being a jerk. Mike Hale is our Teacher of the Year, and I'm standing up because you guys seem so far back. Get up here. And Cache High is the alternative high school for the Cache School District, and we take kids that are behind in credit and change their lives. And Mike is a great part of that because he runs our credit recovery program after school. And I love when the teachers get to vote and see who they pick and why they pick them. And Mike, in fact, ran home to change to get in a suit to come back because he'd been at school all night helping someone from another high school with math. And he doesn't have to do those things. And he stays late and he doesn't care about the time, and I appreciate that. He has 6 children. The reason why he has no support tonight is because his wife's home fighting the battle. And he was embarrassed, like, oh, should I have brought everyone? They were eating dinner, kind of. So, no, they're home. And this is his 11th year teaching. He's always taught at Cache High. And he also has a great background in construction, and he can fix anything in our building, which is good because we're getting a new one for a reason. It's kind of fallen down, so he's put rooms together. And anyway, we love Mike Hale, and we're proud to honor him as Teacher of the Year at Cache High.
Well, first of all, she told me I didn't have to say anything tonight, but you never can. No, I feel honored, especially being down where we're at. There's all of them could have been Teacher of the Year. They all do great stuff. I'm just part of it, and I have great examples down there. We have great leadership. We've got great support staff. We've got great support from the district. We couldn't do without everybody. And the one thing that we always say down in our school is when we make decisions, we make it based upon what the students needs, not what we want. And when we do that, we've seemed to be successful. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, and we would now like to recognize Kalina Pusateri. Did I get close to that? All right. From South Cache Middle School, and this will be presented by Mr. Pickett. No? Oh, okay, Mr. Lund.
Okay, I'm going to give that to you, and I'm going to wait for the board all right behind me.
Well, board and those of you that are here as guests and attending, on a night of celebration that we've had, it's so neat to recognize Matthew and the band and all these other great teachers. But as we have this opportunity to recognize Kalina, South Cache is so lucky to have her. And I know that every administrator feels that way, but this year we wanted to do something slightly different. The last few years, we've allowed the teachers to go and nominate and share the reasons that they really feel like the teachers are needing the recognition of Teacher of the Year. This year we decided at a parent-teacher conference we wanted to have other stakeholders, the students and also parents go and have their ability to contribute their nominations. And so as we went through the information, Kalina's name just kept showing up from students recognizing her and parents recognize her, and it was very easy to put her on the list to let the staff go and nominate and say great things. And what a neat opportunity. I wanted to share just a few things that some of the students have said, and obviously in the great way students can say it, she's amazing, she's awesome, she's great. That's about as far as they got, but we know that it's a lot further than that. The teachers that she works with, I wanted to share just a couple of things. Kalina works so hard to run the English department and teach both 7th and 8th grade, so she's got a lot more prep where she's working with both grades. Another one, Kalina is enthusiastic and cares about getting to know her students. She seems to go above and beyond just teaching her classes. Kalina is invested in the success of her students and asking how they're doing after they leave her classroom. The reason I bring those two up, there's many more that I could share, but as I was getting to know Kalina a little bit more and reading her philosophy, there's 4 things that she put down. The first thing about Kalina is that she's creative. She loves being with her family. She likes the outdoors. I didn't mention teaching, but that was up at the beginning. So she loves teaching. As I walked into Kalina's classroom today, she's got up on the board a weird fact of the day, and that happens every single day. And I'm just going to share this, and it can go in the board minutes if you'd like. But the weird fact for today is the longest recorded flight of a chicken is 13 seconds. I didn't know that. We all know a little bit more today. But as I read on with Kalina's philosophy, she wanted to make sure that her philosophy was clear. she puts a lot of trust in the teachers that are working with her children, Daxton and Sophia, and she wants to know, or she wants everybody to know that her philosophy is the same. Parents are trusting her with their students and their children, and she is going to go and make sure that every one of the students that she interacts with has that same loyalty, that same every bit of 100% effort that she wants her children to have. She's going to give it to the students that come through South Cache. And so, Kalina, there's so many things that we'd love to say. We just don't have time. The thing is, you do it in the classroom, and that's amazing. So, Kalina Pusateri is the South Cache Teacher of the Year. You can't get off that easy. A new precedent has been set.
Okay. Well, I'm just really honored and so grateful that I could be the Teacher of the Year. I love this district and I love South Cache. And it's just, since I've been there, it's just been like home to me. So, and I'm just grateful for my job. I love it every day. So.
Do you have family here?
Yes.
Would they like to come in, up and be in the picture?
You're certainly welcome to be in the picture if you'd like. Okay, there's another picture. Hold on. Grandpa needs a picture.
Thank you. And thank you to all of our teachers, and we appreciate so much the great work you do here in our district. All right, we'll go ahead and move on with our agenda to the public input. All right, we have no one for public input, so we will go ahead then and vote on our consent agenda. I will take a motion to approve our consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as printed.
Second.
Any discussion on any of the items? Okay, we'll go ahead and vote then. I was going to have Mike record some music to play while we're waiting for this to come on. Yep, yep. Da, 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 da. Oh, it has, oh, you have to start over. Okay, let's see, what did I do? Hey, did you hear that? Me giving advice on how to do technology? Awesome.
That's impressive,
I know.
If you'd like to tell me verbally, I can place your vote.
You have to vote verbally. He's got to get back in though.
Yes, the server went out on mine, so,
I vote yea.
yay.
All right, all the votes are in unanimous.
Okay. All right, then we will go ahead and move to our action agenda, which is a request to authorize the purchase of a building in North Logan. And Tim will present that.
All right, I added, kind of late today, a couple of attachments to the agenda, and I have some handouts if you'd rather have a printed copy of what's on there, but Alan, are you still down?
No, it's up.
Okay. I've been asked to present on the request for approval to authorize the purchase of a building in North Logan. And I just want to start out by giving you a little bit of context. First of all, let's just talk real quickly about the building in question. The building in question, I think most of you have been down and walked through. Its location is 84 East, 2400 North in North Logan. It's a building that was built in 2005. Was recently vacated and just recently came on the market. It's got just over 32,000 square feet. All the furnishings are included in this building. It's got a pretty robust technology infrastructure in place. This building served as a call center, and so it already had all the fiber optics and network there. Has a complete data center, very good security. It's got a full access control system. It's got about 138 spaces out in the parking lot, so a large parking lot. Very simple landscape, but it's complete. And just off Highway 91 and the new 100 East, which is passing right behind the facility that we're hoping, or 200 East. Thank you. Just to give you a little, this is a building that's being requested to be a new home for the district offices, and I thought I'd give you a little bit of context to start with. I actually had the privilege, back when I wasn't affiliated with the school district and was a parent, to serve on the bond committee that was part of the 2006 bond initiative. And that bond initiative was focused mostly on taking care of the growth in the elementary schools in our school district. I had the privilege to serve on a subcommittee that was looking at the district infrastructure. At that time, there was our bus facility was here. We parked all of our buses out behind here. We had a small maintenance shop, and all of our another part of our maintenance department was over here in this back building. And at that time, the recommendation of that subcommittee was that we consider a proposal to relocate those transportation services so those buses didn't have to come all the way into North Logan to service the rest of the county's the county school district. We also made a recommendation that the school district consider replacing the administrative offices here at the district, which we'll talk about in just a minute. The district decided in that bond initiative to go ahead. It made a lot of sense to move the maintenance department and the transportation facility, and I think that's proven to be a very wise move, but chose at the time not to look at moving the administrative offices. But the busing compound that serves both school districts is located out on 1400 North and about, what is that, 6th or 8th West or something like that. In 2013, the bond initiative that passed then, same discussion took place. I wasn't on that committee, but there was a discussion about the age of the district office, and the recommendation, I think, or at least the discussion on that committee, was that we look at replacing the school district facilities. Again, that was something that the school district really didn't want to bond for a new district office building, so that wasn't part of that bond initiative either. And that bond initiative was focused mainly on two things, and that was taking care of our secondary facilities. We built 2 new high schools. We built a new elementary school. And we took care of a lot of seismic issues that were in the school district. A lot of the older structures that we had ended up replacing or remodeling the school to take care of 2 of our oldest schools in Lewiston and Wellsville. So made a lot of progress there. On that bond initiative, the district, and Dale can talk a little bit more about this, was very conservative and made sure they put aside some funds to make sure we could reach completion on what we'd committed to do for the public. And happily we can report, I think it's to the credit of the school district and our architects and our construction company that worked on those buildings to finish all of those buildings within the bond budget and with some help, some resources from the district office. And I think if we were to try under today's building costs to replicate what we've done over the last 4 years, it would be very difficult to do with the building costs that have gone up considerably. So accomplished something great, I think, to take care of our growth issues. Anyway, and that's the kind of the context. This building that's come available that we're looking at for a new home for the district office was a little bit serendipitous in that we weren't out actively necessarily looking for a building. This is one that through one of our employees, again, just came on the market recently. We have looked at some buildings in the past because we know that we're outgrowing this facility and this facility's aging, but none of them had all of the parts and pieces that we felt that we needed to take care of to serve as a district office. And this building had that. Again, I mentioned it came with furnishings, a good solid technology infrastructure, fully landscaped, and so that we thought this was worth pursuing. So that's really what we're asking to authorize. We feel the building would be a good solution for the Cache District. If you look at that other document that's on there of the district office, the current district office, first part of that district office that we have over here, this southwest corner, was built in 1896. Houses part of really houses our payroll department. 8 years later, they added where our HR department is in 1904. Then they added the Greenville and the sunrooms on the front there, and that's when that facility became an elementary school in 1915. 1929, they added the all where we're at with the administrative offices was added, and that was actually a gym and a stage. That became a K-8 facility and served the district well for many years. During the 70s, we added the building out back, and during the 80s, we added the warehouse. And in 2007, we added this building here. We've got approximately about 75 staff. We've got 100 staff that are associated with the district office here. Some of those staff members work in the field, so they're out and about during the days, but we've got about 75 staff that we house here currently. That's technology support staff, curriculum staff, administrative offices, all of our business offices, and student support services. Just in the 4 years I've been here, it's been an interesting dance every year if we add someone to figure out where we're going to put the next person. We talked even this last year about possibly bringing in some portables to put out back here to take care of that, some needs that we had. But we have several individuals that are triple bunked in an office, or a few offices that have they're doubled up in those offices. The district's grown considerably since that 2006 bond issue. We've added 4,000 or 5,000 students, and we're one of the leanest district offices in the state, but we've still had to add personnel to support the schools. So I believe this is, at some point, we've got to look at replacing this building. We have fixed it up, wore it out, or made it do or do without. But this is still a great facility, and we plan on continuing to use this facility. But I think this is a good step forward and looking down the road and making sure this district can meet its needs going forward. Any questions that the board has?
So Tim, what do we pick up square footage wise, usable square footage to go from here to there? How much will we increase our space?
As far as the administrative offices that we have here, we're not planning on moving some of the facilities we have here, like the warehouse, but the administrative offices are just over 13,000 square feet that we utilize here with that staff that we're planning on moving down there. And that building is just over 32,000 square feet.
Okay, good. What do you see as the biggest investments we'd have to make in moving down there? Because when we talked before, a lot of that furniture will come with the purchase, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What do you see as our significant investments that we'd have to make in moving there?
I think that's the real advantage of this building. It's not that when you move into a new facility, you've got to change some things to be functional, but with the technology we're $150 to switch over the fiber optics, and we think we can be up in a day with that part of the facility, and there's much of the building that we could move in once we decide kind of how to occupy the space. There's a couple of large areas in the building that were part of the call center that really offer some potential to do some training rooms and those kind of things down the road, which would be excellent. But they're not spaces that we have to remodel right away. So I think with some minimal form and function type things, we could move.
So pretty much plug and play then,
Yeah.
as it were.
But
It-
in order to move have a facility for the board, we're gonna have to do some investing in planning, so we're planning on leaving the boardroom here
Mhm.
for a certain period of time, so that, wanted to make sure that we covered that. Warehouse will remain here and probably will continue to remain here. And then, Tim didn't go into the fact that we're gonna move out of the River Heights building and move some of those people over into here, so we do get out of a building completely. We'll just turn that over to River Heights City. But there are some things that we will have to do eventually down there in order to move the boardroom down and have a facility as nice as this. We would have to do, because there isn't a space like this down there that's already finished off. There's plenty of open space to do that. But we haven't planned for that in the budget and wouldn't until a year or two down the road, I think.
Mhm. Okay. Just one other question, Tim. I mean, we went out there on that one visit, and then I went back a couple of times just to walk around and think about it. Has there been a good evaluation of like the HVAC system and the plumbing and all of that? Is that all in pretty good shape from?
I know Bruce Parker has been there on several occasions and went over all of that system with the individual that's still at that building and understands that system very well. And I know Bruce feels very comfortable about where that building is. I've also taken my technology group down there and went through the building, and we're very comfortable with where that's at. It's got a large data center. We've always been concerned about our data center here and outgrowing it, and we're planning on moving that whole core structure to that building, but it takes about a year and a half to get all the parts and pieces in place to move that core network over. And there's not a lot of expense, it's just logistics of shutting down a system and while you have a fully operating district and moving it.
Okay.
So the chance on changing the access, is that moving forward? Because right now, the access to the building is bad.
Dale's the best answer to that. Access to the
Access.
building off Main Street and Second East.
Yeah, that's one we're working with the current property owner. Jack Nixon actually has the property just north of us, of the new building. He has direct access onto 200 East, or maybe even 100 East at that point, I'm not sure, but we're still working with him. He's very willing to help us, but he's working on developing his property there. He has 7.5 acres. Until he really knows how that's going to lay out, he doesn't want to commit to one location or another, but he's still willing to help us make that happen. Actually, the entryway coming in off the highway is 2400 north, which is on the city's master plan, and that's really the road. It's interesting enough, that one is one that ought to go straight up through and connect all
Right.
to the corridor road there, so that may still happen, I don't know, but we'll work with North Oakland City on that.
I'm sorry, what did you say about the master plan, Dale?
Well,
With the road?
2400 is a dedicated road, should actually be going right on through and make connection with the second 200 East road. Right now, the road that is connected is 2450, which is actually a private road Jack Nixon has developed, so it's not even a city-owned road. And so that's something we want to work with North Logan City in working with them and trying to open that up so that
Well, now, if it's in their master road plan, though, if he goes to develop that land, he would have to develop it such that the road would pass through, right?
And maybe I shouldn't say it's on the master plan.
Okay.
I haven't seen that.
Okay,
But it is the actual 2400 street, that's a city-owned street, where the road that Jack has is just a private road
okay.
connecting up. So I would think the city should give preference to the city road entering on there for.
And then there is a second option. There is some land behind us that we know is under contract. We're going to approach them also to see if they would sell us a sliver to get access to Second East. So there's a couple options we're working on. It'll be a little inconvenient for a while because it's awful hard to make a left-hand turn on Highway 89. But if you go right, you can go around the corner and be on Second East, and
Right. So that's the worst-case scenario, right?
that's the worst case.
Okay.
Any other questions, concerns?
I've got one. Our River Heights building, how old is it, and what's the square footage of that? Do you know?
I didn't look up that data. You've done more work on the schools as far as history, but you probably haven't looked at that one because we've been looking directly at schools that are servicing, so.
I looked at that once, and if I remember right, it was like early 1940s or late 1930s. I can't remember the exact year.
And that's a building we've had to do a fair amount of maintenance work on to keep up, so it'll be nice to step away from that building. Although we'll leave it in good shape. It's very well taken care of as far as.
I think this new building is very energy efficient also with all of the new systems. At least when I looked through it, that's what it sounded like as as the fellow was leading us through too, which should be helpful on our budget. Okay, any other questions, concerns? All right, then I will take a motion to authorize the purchase of a building in North Logan.
I'll make a motion that we authorize the purchase of a building in North Logan.
Will someone second?
Second.
Okay, let's go ahead and, any discussion? No discussion? Okay, we'll go ahead and vote.
Kathy, would you help Alan again there?
I'm out. I'll have to go verbal. I don't know what's happening.
I think after a certain period of time, it just kind of shuts down. You have to restart it.
I have restarted,
Um,
so I'll log out this time. So the answer is yes for me.
I am? Oh, okay. I was looking at my graft.
Okay, so all the votes are in and unanimous in favor of the motion.
Awesome. All right, thank you, Tim. Okay. All right. Next, we'll have a report on River Heights Elementary School Land Trust Monies Adjustment.
Right, I brought some lovely paperwork for all of you if you would like it.
Thank you.
I'm not as tall as Tim is, unfortunately. My purpose in coming tonight is to make a couple of adjustments or to seek approval to make some adjustments to the trust lands plan. The first piece of that is an adjustment to the overall funding allocation. I was talking with Ann Hunt, and we're not quite sure how this happened initially, but there was $1,000 that was unallocated at the end, and we would really like to allocate that. And so on the second, I believe it's the second to last page of this document, penciled in or penned in beautiful green pen, is just a mark to change that salary and employee benefits from $35,000 to $36,000. And then that will take care of that outstanding $1,000 amount. And we do feel that we'll actually utilize most of that, if not all of it. We did have some changes in some funding for our reading aid allocations this last year. We had a half FTE in previous years that we don't have this year, so we've had to shift and use a little bit more of our trust lands funds to cover our reading aid budget than we had initially thought. And so that will actually cover that with leaving not much left over. And that $36,000, we don't feel like we need to add anything else into the sub-items for insurance and benefits with the parapro staff that we have. It should be covered with what we've already allocated in the line item budget that Ann holds. So,
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
This looks really good. Looks
okay,
good.
thank you. The other change that we would like to request is to just go through and adjust our goals. Each year when we create our plan for the following year, we're working usually off of what we believe we'll be able to achieve and attain as a school. And so we would like to change our goal for goal 1, school math student proficiency. We'd like that to stay from 56% to 59% as measured on the SAGE assessment. And this last year, we did have a drop. We were expecting to come in at about 70%. And as I've worked with Glenn, the previous principal, as well as the staff in 3rd through 6th grade in math, I wanted to find out why they felt like this drop happened, because that's a considerable drop based on what they were projecting. And what I found out is initially when they started testing, they were testing right off the bat when the window opened. And at that time, they had somehow gotten the information that when students go in to test, they would only have 2 50-minute time blocks to complete the math assessment and have to submit. But the SAGE assessment is open, it's not timed. But because of that, they push students through very hard and very fast, and they feel like that attributed to the drop that we saw, because students did not have the time they normally would to take it in more of a stress-free mindset, that you'll have the time you need to come back to go through again to check your work. And so they felt like that was a major attributor to what caused that drop in this past year. So that's why we'd like to make that adjustment to reflect where we were at the end of this last year, where we'd like to see an increase. We believe it'll be larger than that, but they asked to keep it conservative this year. We do have several new teachers to our staff at River Heights, and they're new to their grade level as well. We've had some changes within the school. And so to give them a goal that we felt was realistic, the school's decided on a 3% overall increase. Okay. And then a couple of pages back, we have another item, goal 2. School language arts student proficiency rate will go from 57% to 60% as measured by the SAGE assessment. This is very close to what we had originally indicated for our goal. 57, we had it actually at 58, but we brought that down to 57 to reflect where we actually achieved as a school last year, and would like to continue with the 3% increase overall for language arts. Okay. And I believe that is it. Those are the changes we'd like to propose.
All right, anyone have any questions? Okay, thank you, Stephanie.
Okay, thank you.
All righty, we'll go ahead and have our monthly financial report.
Just quickly, you should have the financial report in your board packet, or online now for you. Reflecting transactions up through the end of October. And so this budget now reflects all of the carryover balances as of July 1. And then it also reflects adjustments that have been made with additional salaries for teachers that were hired due to the increased growth, student growth that we had above what was originally budgeted and estimated. So those adjustments are all included in there. If you look quickly on it's actually now the 3rd page. You notice my 1st page is now, it used to be a 1-page report, now I've switched it into 2 just because we picked up a couple of extra funds of the self-insured health and accident insurance fund and also the tax increment financing fund. We've shown that in here also, and so it didn't all fit on a page without being able to have a magnifying glass to read it. Well, this I did for you and for me.
Thank you.
Probably more for me, because I couldn't read it either. On the detailed report itself, just quickly. Property taxes are coming in a little bit better than last year. Again, it's so new in the year that any little change in here probably doesn't mean a lot this early in the game. Investment earnings are still coming in well. And looking down through the different expenditure categories, salaries and benefits, there's still a couple of cases there where current amounts expended exceed where we were a year ago at the same point in time. But one I know for sure is we did have more teachers hired this year than we did last year who then chose to receive their annual salary in 12 payments. So we started their first payment, though it's smaller. We actually started that in August rather than the rest of the teachers get their first payment at the end of September. And so that will show the expenditure amount to date in comparison to the annual budget being just a little bit higher than it was a year ago. But,
That really helps out teachers who are, especially those just getting started. And so I really appreciate the fact that our business office will do that for our people. Appreciate that.
And so really, if you want to go through the report, there's nothing I'd raise as a concern. Being able to purchase this new building was never mentioned. The offered price is $5.2 million for that building at $162 a square foot. And those funds are actually coming from carryover funds that we've accumulated from past years. You know, for the last 3 years, we've had the increased funding for equalization formulas that come into place. And each year, when we've had a carryover, we typically have helped employees out with the salary augmentation. And the balance of that generally, we've just let sit. And so it's accumulated plus anything new from the following year. Let's just have that carryover balance continue to grow. So this past year's carryover balance was the largest we've ever had as a district that I'm aware of since I've been around. And so it's really fortunate where this building has just come available to us to actually have been in a position to purchase that with current district funds. Some coming from capital, the balance of it mostly coming from the general fund carryover funds. And so that is, it's just really worked out well. We couldn't have done this a year ago as far as being able to pay for it out front. And so the timing on this just came together very well. We did actually have a salary augmentation that was paid out to employees Monday this week. A $500 payment to each full-time employee, and part-timers that receive a prorated amount. And so that we have been able to do. And so our current budget itself is sound. I think we're going to be fine. And so we won't be able to do a lot of new extravagant things this year that haven't been anticipated, but we are in a good position to operate this year.
Thank you. All right. Go ahead and move on. Discussion of the board goals. I hope you've had time to look over these and see if you feel fine about them. Jeff did ask that we consider on number 1, taking out the words will work too. So it would read the Cache County Board of Education. Will create. So we take work to out. And the second one, the Cache County Board of Education will improve. So we take the work to out on those two, which I think is a great suggestion. So thanks for catching that. The second one there is just to take out all of that's in yellow and also in the first one. So did everybody feel good about these, the way they are, with those corrections made? Okay. I'll change them and we'll put them in the book, and that will be our goal set. Okay? All right. Next, committee reports. Okay, Terry, you want to catch us up on the audit report?
Sure. We met as an internal audit committee at 4:30 today. And Alan Allred from Allred Jackson is working with us on the internal audit committee. And he is this year going to focus on looking at, for sure, looking at the 2 new high schools and the individual accounts, like for certain, or each department, for each club, for each team or activity group, and looking at their budgets to see, we hope that they're all in the black, especially since they just barely have opened. And so what he's testing for this year is to look at those individual accounts within the school, each school's local budget there, to see if any have gone negative and why they would have. So that's what he's testing on this year. And he's also finishing putting together instructions from the financial secretaries at the high schools to create a district-wide accounting procedures book for all of the financial secretaries to reference. So hopefully they're all using the same practices. That's our goal, is to have one manual that they can all refer to all be working through the same accounting practices or bookkeeping practices at each school. And we are working toward, we're going to Dale's going to pull a committee together of those financial secretaries at the high schools to try and find some way to have our district accounting software work with online fee payment for parents, so that we can institute online fee payment for all of the families who have kids at high schools, because the lines there for registration are really a pain. And we are living in the 21st century now, so we're well into the 21st century. So online fee payment is what we're going to try and work on. The other thing we're going to try and work on this year.
It's a great idea. Writing many, many checks during the year. It'd be nice if I could nail it all at once, but.
Yeah, exactly.
So is that something the district will be able to handle, or do you have to get a outside company to handle online? I know a lot of districts that I've heard of have signed on with this one company. They take care of it. I don't know if.
And that's what we want to look at. I mean, there's a number of different options that are out there, and that's what the committee will try to figure out what is the best way to go. It's, you know, there's so much care has to be done when you're dealing with individuals' credit card information and whatnot, that you know, I'd be really leery about trying to develop our own system that would have all of the safeguards in place to protect that completely. And so I think going with a third-party vendor of some type that would integrate with our current system is what we're hoping to find.
Any questions? Thanks, Terry. You've done a really great job on that committee. I think some good things have happened. I was kind of questioning whether it was a good idea to have that committee, but I think some really good things have come out of it. So appreciate that. Jeff. Oh, yeah, Jeff, do you have anything to report on the calendar?
No, we're meeting again on the 28th.
Okay, all right. Okay, yours did not get on. Can he report his anyway, if it didn't get on the agenda?
It happened today.
For the board? Is it for, what's it for?
It was for the UHSAA.
Okay,
Well,
it's not on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda,
So it hasn't been.
Can he report?
Can he report?
Because he's not on
We
the
could actually have
agenda.
a discussion, that's not a problem.
Okay.
As long as we don't take any action.
There's
as a
no
board.
action.
Okay, all right. Go ahead then.
Okay, we met today with USHAA, and the lawsuit that was out there for suing the legislature because of some actions that were taken has been dismissed. So that's taken care of and done and off the table.
Thank you.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a really good thing. That was the biggest item that we had. There was a discussion about lacrosse, and we'll wait till we get a little more information on that before we bring that to the board. But it could be a very expensive endeavor to sanction that. And some districts are opting for it, some districts aren't. So those are the two big items that we had. There were a few minor items that really doesn't have any effect on the district, but that was the biggest item.
Okay, thank you, Alan. Appreciate you attending that meeting and bringing back the information. Any questions? Okay, all right, so I'll just quickly reverse on the Adverse Childhood Events Committee. They had their third meeting just a couple of weeks ago, and now the people who are on that committee, I don't know if you'd call it a committee, but who attend that meeting are dividing into three groups: medical, school, and business, I think, and coming up with strategies as to how they can get information out into those organizations to help kids. And I met with the ones on education. It was a really great group of people from Box Elder, Cash, and Logan, who came up with some really great ideas of things that teachers could use and counselors could use in the schools to help locate those students who are struggling because of ACEs in their lives. And I think our district has done really great in getting the word out. We had the presentation, the principals had the presentation, the counselors had the presentation, and let's see, Ridgeline principal presented it to their teachers, and Cherie had Dr. Red come and do it for Cash High. So that information is getting out, which is good, but my personal opinion is that really the ones who need to have that information are the teachers. And I don't know how we'd ever get that to all of them, but it would be nice if Dr. Red and some of the presenters.
Dr. Red's not going to be able to do that, but we have people who are capable of carrying that message forward, so we'll make sure that happens.
Okay. All right. Okay, then on the board president report, a couple of things. I hope that everybody got a chance to look at the corrections that have been made to the member handbook. And I'll just say, if you haven't, please read it over and see if the changes look okay to you. And if you have any questions about anything, email me, because after Thanksgiving, I'm going to go ahead and make these permanent, and then we'll look at the finished copy and see how it is. Okay? On the parent university discussion, at our meeting in September, a lot of us were interested in maybe trying to hold some kind of a parent meeting for the whole district. And I just wanted to get some feedback. Are you still interested in trying to do that? And if so, what topics would you think would be good to present to all of the parents of Cache County?
It seems like the presentation that we saw in September, they surveyed the parents. I don't think that, well, I think that it would be best if the topics came from parents, not from us. Because we may or may not know what parents really need to know, or what parents really want to hear about how the district is functioning, or like the one that was on teenage suicide and things like that. So they sent a survey out to their parents.
Okay, do you think that's a good, well, first of all, are you still interested in having like a district meeting for all parents on some topic that would be?
Okay, I don't want to throw cold water into this, but Mike knows this. As we've tried to put House Bill 239 together, where we were funded, non-funded, but mandated to hold a parent meeting in our district and cover suicide, substance abuse, internet safety, and one other one. Do you remember what it was, Mike? Those four?
Was it opioids?
No, that was substance abuse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, suicide, substance abuse, internet safety, and there was one other one there. But as we've tried to do that, and we've had 3 of those meetings organized the first year, and we got a total of 12 parents there on all 3 of them. And then the only way we've been able to get parents out is the health department has tied that in with the First Lady's Family First initiative, and we've had a meal, and people have come out to that meeting. And then we've had a couple of hundred people come out.
Who sponsored it? Who was it? The
Well,
Bear River?
it was Bear River Health Department that provided the meal, but it came from the First Lady's initiative on Families First.
So did it go through the school district?
It went through all kinds of advertising, but the school districts should send out blasts for it. And they had to be pre-registered, and that's the only way we've been able to get people to come to those types of meetings. Now, if the parents pick the topic, it might be different. I don't know, but that's the experience that we've had in doing this. And it hasn't just been our district. We have done it in Logan District, we've done it in Box Elder, and we've done it in Ridge. And the same results.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have any opinions? Is no opinion like, you're not really in favor of it?
No, I like the idea of it. I mean, we can offer the venue, right, and offer the opportunity to talk about topics that they want to. We may still not get any support, but at least we'll be offering an opportunity to do so. I would be interested in doing that.
But it'd have to be interest that the parents have, not interest that we're generating.
Yeah.
Should we pursue it to the point of maybe putting together a survey with just a couple of questions on, like, would you be willing or would you be interested in attending a meeting on a subject pertinent to your children in school? And then, if so, what subjects would you be interested in? And maybe sending them to all of the school community councils?
Yeah.
Interested in at least that much, then we know if they're interested or not. Okay, all right, thank you. The board Christmas party. Right now, we've got it scheduled for December the 7th, and we do have a couple of conflicts. Dell is not going to be there, and your wife said you guys would not be able to be there.
Yeah, we've got kids who made a commitment for the National Finals Rodeo in Vegas without checking with us to see if we were free. And we have hotels, flight, and tickets.
Okay, guess you won't
So-
cancel that for the party. Okay, everybody still on board for it? Okay, we will have it right after this meeting on December 7th at my home, and I do need some volunteers for salads. So, do you want to
Yeah.
volunteer now?
Yeah.
Okay, so what kind would your wife like to do? We can do fruit, lettuce, fruit, green.
Maybe
fruit,
Jeff is gonna do it.
fruit,
No.
okay, Jeff, what would you like to bring?
We'll go with the green salad. How's
Okay,
that?
okay, Jeff will make the green salad. Okay,
Colette can make a salad.
okay, Colette will do what
So what,
kind?
you need a fruit salad?
Fruit salad and maybe a set salad. Which would you prefer, like a jelly salad or a fruit salad?
Do we have Jell-O? We can have Jell-O.
Okay, and then one more for,
I could do one,
okay,
fruit one.
okay, great. All right, then this brings up the next question. Okay, I am for having fun at parties. Do you want to do gifts again, or do you want me to come up with another idea?
Let's venture out, come up with another idea.
Okay, all right, and then the last.
Wow, they're going out on a limb.
I know, you're taking a risk here. Okay, then the next thing is, what was the next thing? I'll email you. I can't remember what the next thing was.
Was it for the Christmas party or
Yeah,
USBA?
For the Christmas party. Yeah. Okay, maybe it'll come to me. All right. so
Send us an
plan on
email.
it, And we'll plan on a really good time. Okay, then we need a count and the names of those who are going to USBA. And if everybody can give it to me, I can call Carolyn and give it to her in one call. So are you planning to go?
Yes.
Will your wife be there?
I don't know.
Okay, we've got to know. Can you let me know soon?
I will.
All right, and then the check for her meals, whatever she's gonna plan to eat, which the banquet is $42 and the lunch is $27, or both for $69, needs to be made to USBA and given to Dale. Is that right, Dale? Or Carolyn? Okay, so you could mail it in or whatever, and we need to have it by the 30th. Okay,
I'll be there, Colette will.
okay. Okay, Alan?
Both of us.
What's your wife's name? Marilyn. Thank you. Okay, Jeff?
Yes, we'll both be there.
Okay. We'll just do both. Terry?
I will for sure.
Okay. And, okay. And Steve?
Yes,
Both?
both.
Okay. Okay, we got that handled. And then, do you know about NSBA yet? Because she would like to get a count on that as well. She's reserved hotels already for us, but it would be nice for us to get the information. Do you know yet, Randall?
I will be going, Tanya, 90% yes.
Okay.
We will.
Okay. Okay, Ellen?
Yeah, we'll both be going, and Larry and Chris are both going to both
okay.
of those.
Okay. Do you know about the USBA for him?
Yes, he's going.
And is Chris?
Yes, he'll be going.
Okay. Okay, Jeff?
I called Carolyn already. I can't make the NSBA.
Okay,
but-
okay. And then Terry?
Yes, I'll be at NSBA.
Okay. Okay, I'll get that information in. All right, I think we've got everything covered on that. And Superintendent?
Just a couple quick items. Thank you for your support of the district administration. I think sometimes we forget that everybody that is in the instruction anyway in the district is a former teacher, and they were really, really good teachers, and they gave up that contact with students to help other teachers and help this district function. I think we've done a nice job of housing our teachers in the buildings in our district, and it was nice to do something tonight for those people who've been working in the district. I think it'll go a long ways. I think the building will meet your needs for years to come, and it was, you know, of all the decisions we've made in the years I've been here, it's hard to rank them, but starting in the PIO office was really a great decision. And so when we leave this meeting, we have information going out to our patrons and to our teachers and staff, and so they'll get the information before the paper comes out with the story in the morning. We think that's important to let them know. I'm hoping that there'll be really good support for that decision, and I have all the intentions for that it's going to be that way, but there will be some. So that just comes with the territory, but it's a very nice decision that was made tonight. Dell indicated that we did get a salary augmentation. We did the same as last year. Hopefully, we'll be able to continue to do that. It's hard to budget right down to the exact numbers, so when you're negotiating in the spring for what you're going to pay teachers next year, you kind of have to be a little conservative, and I think if we have some money left over, I think at Christmas time, it's nice to distribute that on an equal basis, because I think everybody's under the same pressure. Our custodians, our cooks, bus drivers, they all need and appreciate a little help at Christmas time. So I think that's the way we'll continue to do that. And it's our intent to start building up our reserves again, because you never know when something might present itself that's worthy of making a single investment. But it'll take us a while to build back up. So all budgets are whole. There isn't anybody that should be hurt because of this decision. Maintenance has been really good to work with us, and we appreciate that. There are a few things that could go wrong. We've got a boiler down on the Mountain Crest Pool. We've got an electrical panel up at Skyview, and what was the third thing that Bruce brought out?
The carbon monoxide detection at Spring Creek.
Okay. If a couple of those are just, we know we gotta take care of them, and we're just kinda nursing them along until we get all the life we can out of them. But if something did happen, we would come back to you, and we still have our $2,500,000 reserve that's there to take care of anything like that. So we're not, as Dale pointed out, I think we have a fine budget. We just don't have that luxury of looking over there and saying, well, we've got a little bit more than just adequate. It'll take us a while to build that back up, but we do appreciate the opportunity of taking care of salary and needs before we worry about buildings, and I think we've done a nice job of that with the help of the public. Without the last two bonds, we'd be in a real hurting situation, and just the fact that we can go to bed at night knowing we don't have any two-story structures out there that would probably come right down to the ground if you had a bad earthquake. And we've got most of our teachers and students in relatively new buildings. I mean, when I got here, when I looked over the buildings, we had a lot of buildings that were built in the 1930s during the Depression. And that was mighty nice help that we got from the federal government to help us build those buildings. But it became our responsibility to replace them, and I think the citizens of this school district have done a nice job. It won't be long. We'll have to be looking at some additional bonding, but hopefully we can get by with just doing portables for a bit until we get to the need. So just appreciate your support immensely. So.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, I have a question. What about the lead in the two systems? Has that been taken care of, or are we working on that?
They're replacing a valve at Spring Creek in the kitchen. That's the only one that is not ready yet. So they've gone and had to replace them to brass couplings, and they're retesting them. We're just waiting for that result.
Skyview got taken care of?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate the district, appreciate everyone on the board doing your job and doing it well and willing to help out with whatever. And we have a great district to be very, very proud of. I'll take a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I second it.
Okay, all in favor say yes?
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, we made it in time. Dale?
Tim?